Imagine waking up on a sun-kissed beach, feeling the warm sand under your feet, and knowing that every dollar you earned is already working for you, not the other way around.
In the next 17 minutes, I'm going to hand you 3 completely free Excel tools that will shave years off your journey to financial independence. No pricey apps, no complicated software, just plain old Excel, tweaked for the FIRE community.
Stick around and I'll show you exactly how to plug in your numbers and watch your FIRE goal come into focus fast. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your perspective.
I'm Alex, a long-time FIRE enthusiast who turned a modest salary into a portfolio that now covers my living expenses and lets me travel whenever I want. I started this channel to share the practical steps that turned my vague dream of early retirement into a concrete plan.
And today I'm excited to give you the exact spreadsheets that made the difference for me.
Financial independence, retire early, often shortened to FIRE, is the idea that you can accumulate enough assets to cover your living costs without having to rely on a paycheck. The secret sauce isn't a magic investment. It's data-driven tracking. When you can see every asset, every liability, every cash flow, you can make informed decisions that accelerate your path. Most people stumble because they don't see the whole picture. Net worth, cash flow, and investment growth are usually scattered across bank statements, budgeting apps, and brokerage dashboards. That fragmentation creates blind spots and slows progress.
Today, we'll walk through 3 free templates that bring everything together in one clean workbook.
First, a net worth tracker that gives you a real-time snapshot of where you stand. Second, a monthly budget and cash flow sheet that shows exactly how much you're saving each month. Third, an investment growth projection that visualizes how long it will take to hit your FIRE number based on different return assumptions.
By the end of this video, you'll have a ready-to-use workbook, plus a simple workflow that turns raw numbers into a clear FIRE roadmap.
Let's start with the foundation, knowing exactly where you stand today. Picture a ladder. At the bottom, you have your income, then your savings, then your investments, and finally your net worth at the top. Those 3 pillars, net worth, cash flow, and growth rate, are the metrics that determine how quickly you can climb. A spreadsheet can turn those abstract concepts into concrete numbers you can act on.
Even if you're not an Excel wizard, the formulas are pre-filled. Just enter your numbers and watch the magic happen.
I've placed a download link in the description below. Click it, unzip the file, and open the workbook. The first tab is the net worth tracker. You'll see a clean layout divided into assets on the left and liabilities on the right, each with subcategories like cash, retirement accounts, real estate, credit cards, and loans. The totals are calculated automatically with a sum-if formula that pulls in only the rows you've marked as active.
Positive net worth values light up in green, while negative balances flash red, giving you an instant visual cue.
Now, let's walk through the dynamic formulas. In the Assets section, each line has a drop-down where you select the type of asset, and the Amount column is where you type the current balance. The sheet uses a sum-ifs function that adds up every entry that matches the asset label, ignoring any rows you've left blank. The Liabilities side works the same way, but the final net worth cell subtracts the total liabilities from total assets. That single number updates the moment you change a single cell, so you always have an up-to-date picture of your financial health. Below the balance table, you'll find a timeline chart that auto-updates whenever you add a new monthly snapshot. To record a new snapshot, simply copy the previous month's row, paste it at the bottom, and replace the numbers with your current balances. The chart will extend its line, showing you the trajectory of your net worth over time. If you notice a dip, you can instantly drill down to the specific asset or liability that caused it, because each point on the graph corresponds to a row in the table. At this point, you might be wondering how often you should update the tracker. I recommend a monthly cadence right after you reconcile your bank statements and brokerage reports. That frequency gives you enough data to see trends without becoming a chore. And because the workbook is saved in the cloud, you can access it from any device, making updates quick and painless. Now that the net worth tracker is set up, let's talk about the next pillar, cash flow. The second tab in the workbook is a monthly budget and cash flow sheet. It's organized into income, fixed expenses, variable expenses, and discretionary spending. Each category has a pre-filled formula that calculates the difference between income and expenses, giving you your monthly savings rate. The sheet also includes a conditional formatting rule that highlights months where your savings dip below 20% of income, a common threshold for accelerating FIRE. If you're already tracking your spending in an app, you can simply export the data as a CSV and paste it into the appropriate columns. The workbook will automatically categorize the entries based on keywords you set up in the Settings tab.
This means you don't have to manually retype every expense. Just map your categories once, and the rest is automated.
One of the most powerful features of this budget sheet is the savings waterfall chart. It visualizes where every dollar goes, from income at the top down through each expense bucket, ending with the amount you're able to invest each month.
Seeing that visual can be a real eye-opener, especially when you realize that a small tweak like cutting a recurring subscription can free up an extra few $100s that you can funnel into investments. If this is resonating, smash that like button and let the algorithm know you want more practical tools like these.
Your feedback helps shape the content we create, and it also signals to other viewers that this video is worth their time. The third and final template is the investment growth projection. This tab takes the monthly savings figure from the budget sheet and projects it forward using compound interest. You can adjust the assumed annual return rate with a simple slider, choose anywhere from 3.5% up to 8%, depending on how aggressive your portfolio is. The model also lets you set a target net worth number, which is the amount you need to cover your living expenses indefinitely. As you move the slider, the chart updates in real time, showing you how many years it will take to reach that target under each scenario. What makes this projection useful is the what-if analysis. You can experiment with increasing your savings rate, changing your return assumptions, or adding a lump sum investment, and instantly see the impact on your timeline.
For example, if you boost your savings by 10%, the model might shave off 2 years from your FIRE horizon.
Those insights are priceless because they turn abstract goals into concrete actions you can take today. We've covered the 3 core templates: net worth tracker, monthly budget and cash flow, and investment growth projection.
By integrating them into a single workbook, you eliminate the fragmentation that slows most people down. You'll have a live dashboard that tells you exactly where you stand, how much you're saving, and how fast you're moving toward financial independence. If this is blowing your mind, hit subscribe and join the community of people who are taking control of their financial future.
Together, we'll keep exploring deeper strategies, share success stories, and refine the tools that make FIRE achievable for anyone willing to put in the work. And now that you have the 3 core sheets open, let's talk about how you can make this workbook truly yours. Turning a generic template into a personal command center for every financial decision you make. First, think about the categories that matter most in your life. The net worth tracker already separates assets into cash, retirement accounts, real estate, and personal property, but you might also want to add a line for side hustle income, cryptocurrency holdings, or even the value of a small business you own.
Adding a new row is as simple as typing the label, and the underlying formulas will automatically incorporate the new figure into the total assets column.
If you're not comfortable with formulas, just remember that the sum range expands as you add rows, so you'll see the total update instantly without having to adjust anything else. Next, let's personalize the cash flow sheet. The budget tab comes with standard categories like housing, transportation, groceries, entertainment, and savings, but your spending pattern might include things like pet care, travel fund, or a subscription box you love. Feel free to rename any category by double-clicking the header cell and typing a new name. The conditional formatting that highlights overspending will follow the label change, keeping the visual cues intact. If you notice a recurring expense that doesn't fit neatly into a single bucket, you can create a subcategory by inserting a new column next to the main one. The sheet is set up to calculate the percentage of total income each line represents, so you'll instantly see how much of your paycheck is devoted to each area.
Now, for the investment growth projection, the real magic happens when you start playing with the what-if sliders.
The model includes a slider for annual return, a slider for monthly savings, and a slider for the target net worth you aim to achieve before you retire. Move the return slider a little higher, and you'll see the timeline compress, but remember that higher assumed returns usually come with higher volatility.
If you're a more conservative investor, you might want to keep the return assumption closer to the lower end of the range,
which will give you a more realistic picture of how long it will take to hit your goal.
The savings slider lets you experiment with increasing your contribution by a few $100s each month. Even a modest bump can shave years off your path to financial independence, especially when compounded over many years.
One feature that often goes unnoticed is the built-in sensitivity analysis table at the bottom of the projection sheet. This table automatically generates a small matrix showing how different combinations of return rates and savings rates affect the years to target. For example, if you set the return at 5% and the savings at 15% of your income, the table will display the resulting horizon. Then, if you raise the savings to 20% while keeping the return constant, you'll see a new value appear next to it. This side-by-side comparison makes it easy to communicate your plan to a partner or a financial advisor, because you can point to concrete numbers rather than vague aspirations.
Speaking of partners, collaboration is another powerful way to get the most out of this workbook.
If you share the file with a spouse, roommate, or trusted friend, you can each fill in your own sections and watch the combined net worth grow.
Excel's sharing feature lets multiple users edit the same file in real time, so you can sit down together, update the numbers,
and instantly see how a joint decision like buying a new car or refinancing a mortgage impacts the overall trajectory. If you're comfortable with a little extra setup, you can even link the workbook to a cloud-based data source, such as a personal finance API, so that balances pull in automatically each month.
That level of automation removes the manual entry step entirely, leaving you free to focus on strategy rather than data entry.
Now, let's address a common concern. What if you're not a numbers person? The truth is, the visual elements of this workbook do most of the heavy lifting for you. The Net Worth tab includes a line chart that plots your total assets and total liabilities over time, shading the area between them to highlight the equity gap. As you add new data each month, the chart stretches forward, giving you a clear visual of whether you're moving toward a positive net worth or slipping back. The cash flow sheet features a stacked bar chart that shows income versus expenses, with a bright green bar indicating the surplus that feeds directly into your savings. Finally, the projection tab displays a dynamic line graph that overlays your current trajectory against several hypothetical scenarios, each line color-coded for easy distinction.
Even if you never look at the raw numbers, these charts will tell you at a glance whether you're on track, ahead, or need to adjust course.
If you're wondering how often you should update the workbook, a good rule of thumb is to set a recurring calendar reminder for the first day of each month. Take a few minutes to pull your latest bank statements, credit card balances, and investment reports, then paste the totals into the appropriate cells.
The formulas will recalculate instantly, and the charts will refresh to reflect the new reality.
Over time, you'll develop a rhythm where the act of updating becomes a habit, reinforcing the discipline that is the cornerstone of any successful FIRE plan. Let's talk about the psychological side of tracking.
Seeing your net worth climb month after month can be incredibly motivating, but it can also be a double-edged sword if you experience a dip due to market volatility.
The workbook includes a built-in volatility buffer indicator, a small cell that calculates the standard deviation of your investment returns over the past 12 months.
When the buffer spikes, the projection chart automatically shades the area around the growth line, visually warning you that the path ahead may be less certain.
This visual cue helps you stay calm during market turbulence, reminding you that short-term fluctuations are normal and that the long-term trend remains your primary focus. Another powerful addition is the goal tracker sheet, which you can add as a new tab if you like.
This sheet lets you list specific milestones such as paying off a student loan, saving for a down payment, or reaching a certain amount of passive income and assign a target date to each. The sheet then calculates the percentage of the goal achieved based on the data already entered in the other tabs.
When a milestone reaches 100%, the cell turns a celebratory gold color, giving you a visual pat on the back. This feature turns abstract financial concepts into concrete, bite-sized achievements, making the journey feel more like a series of wins rather than an endless grind. If you're interested in extending the workbook beyond personal use, consider turning it into a teaching tool for a community group or a financial literacy class.
The clean layout and pre-filled formulas make it an ideal sandbox for newcomers to experiment with budgeting, net worth calculation,
and investment modeling without the fear of breaking anything.
You can duplicate the file, anonymize the data, and let participants fill in their own numbers, then discuss the outcomes as a group. This collaborative learning experience often sparks deeper conversations about values, lifestyle choices, and the trade-offs involved in pursuing early retirement.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to share a quick tip that many seasoned FIRE enthusiasts swear by: the zero-based budget method.
In this approach, every dollar of income is assigned a purpose, whether it's a bill, a savings contribution, or a discretionary spend. The Budget tab already includes a column for planned savings, but you can take it a step further by adding a row for unallocated funds. At the end of each month, if you have any unallocated amount left, you immediately decide where to move it, perhaps into a high-yield savings account, a tax-advantaged retirement vehicle, or a short-term investment. By forcing yourself to allocate every dollar, you eliminate the temptation to let money sit idle, accelerating your path to financial independence.
If you've found any of these ideas useful, I'd love to hear which one you're most excited to try.
Drop a comment below and let me know whether you're adding new asset categories, experimenting with the what-if sliders, or setting up a goal tracker for the first time.
Your feedback not only helps me tailor future videos to the topics you care about most, but it also creates a sense of community where we can all learn from each other's experiences.
And remember, the real power of these templates lies not just in the numbers themselves, but in the habit of regularly reviewing and adjusting them. The moment you make the workbook a living document, something you open, update, and reflect on each month, you're building a feedback loop that keeps you honest, focused, and adaptable. That feedback loop is the engine that turns a distant dream of early retirement into a concrete, achievable plan.
If you're ready to take the next step, go ahead and download the workbook from the link in the description.
It's completely free, and there's no catch, just a simple Excel file that you can start using right away. Once you've opened it, I encourage you to spend a few minutes customizing the categories to match your unique financial situation.
The more you make it your own, the more insightful the data will become. Before you go, I have a small favor to ask. If this video helped you see a clearer path toward financial independence, please give it a thumbs up.
That simple action tells the platform that this kind of practical, hands-on content is valuable, and it helps more people who are searching for tools like these discover the video.
And if you haven't already,
consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming deep dive episodes where we'll explore advanced topics such as tax-efficient withdrawal,
strategies, portfolio rebalancing techniques, and the psychology of long-term wealth building. Finally, I want to leave you with a thought that has guided many on the FIRE journey. Wealth is not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet,
but about the freedom those numbers represent.
Every dollar you allocate towards savings, every expense you trim, and every investment you grow is a step toward a life where you choose how to spend your time, not the other way around.
Keep that vision front and center as you work through the workbook, and let it fuel the discipline needed to stay the course. Thank you for spending this time with me, and for committing to a future where financial independence is within reach. I'm excited to see how you transform these templates into a personal roadmap, and I can't wait to hear about your progress in the comments.
Until the next video, stay curious, stay disciplined, and keep building the life you truly want.